This is not a story about animals. It is a story about how ideals rot, how power disguises itself as justice, and how language slowly rewires reality until truth becomes impossible to recognize. Animal Farm was written by George Orwell and published in 1945. In the aftermath of World War II, Orwell was not writing fiction to entertain. He was writing a warning, a compressed political autopsy of how revolutions that promise equality often end in something far darker. The story begins on a neglected farm, ruled by a drunken human owner. The animals are exploited, overworked, and convinced that their suffering is simply the natural order of things. Until one night, when an old pig named Old Major delivers a speech that changes everything. He speaks of a world without masters, a world where animals control the fruits of their own labor, a world built on equality, dignity, and shared purpose. The vision is intoxicating because it explains their pain and gives it meaning. When the animals overthrow the farmer, the revolution feels pure. The farm is renamed. A set of commandments is written. All animals are equal. No animal shall exploit another. No animal shall behave like a human. For a brief moment, history seems to reset. The animals work harder than ever, not because they are forced to, but because they believe in what they are building. But power does not remain abstract for long. The pigs, who claim intellectual superiority, gradually assume leadership roles. At first, this seems practical. Someone has to organize, someone has to think. Yet slowly, decision-making becomes centralized. Debates disappear. Information flows in only one direction. The pigs begin to speak for the animals rather than with them. One pig in particular, Napoleon, understands something crucial. Power is not maintained through strength alone, but through control of perception. He rewrites history. He alters rules quietly. He replaces memory with narrative. When the animals question inconsistencies, they are told they are mistaken. When they feel uneasy, they are reminded of the horrors of the past. Fear becomes the currency of obedience. The commandments are still there, painted on the wall. But their wording subtly changes. All animals are equal becomes all animals are equal. But some animals are more equal than others. The brilliance of this lie is not that it is convincing. It is that it exhausts resistance. If language itself can contradict logic, an argument becomes pointless. What Orwell exposes here is not just political corruption, but psychological erosion. The animals do not lose their freedom overnight. They lose it gradually, through small compromises, deferred outrage, and the quiet decision to stop thinking too hard. Memory fades, critical thought becomes dangerous. Survival replaces ideals. By the end, the pigs walk on two legs. They dine with humans, they wear clothes. The animals outside look from pig to man and from man to pig, and can no longer tell the difference. The revolution has not failed because it was betrayed by outsiders, but because it recreated the very hierarchy it sought to destroy. The true horror of Animal Farm is not the tyranny. It is the recognition that tyranny often arrives disguised as progress, guided by people who once spoke the language of liberation. The question Orwell leaves us with is deeply uncomfortable. If equality can be rewritten, if truth can be edited, if memory can be overwritten, then how do you know when you are free? If this story unsettled you, that is the point. If it made you reflect on power, language, and obedience, then it is still doing its job. And if you want more ideas that challenge how you see the world, consider liking this video, subscribing, and continuing the journey into the books that don't just inform us but expose us.